Takeuchi Mayumi struggled to let go of her hand and said to Shishiwu Changwu, "Quick, tell everyone to leave here. Immediately! Leave immediately! There is a very big danger coming." Shishiwu Changwu saw Takeuchi Mayumi's anxious expression and immediately understood something. He closed his eyes and began to contact all the living members of Eclipse Moon. Let them gather quickly and leave here. Feng Huang Yuan Jin rushed over as soon as possible. After listening to Shishiwu Changwu's words, he said without hesitation, "It seems that the other party is going to use weapons of mass destruction to clean the ground. Leave here immediately." The Eclipse Moon members who received the signal from Shishiwu Changwu immediately began to rush back. When everyone gathered together, they found that they had lost 5 people in this battle, which was tragic. Such a result was unexpected by everyone, because in the past, as long as they acted according to Mayumi Takeuchi's prediction, no one had ever died. But this time, they lost nearly half of their team members. Everyone was a little confused, but now Mayumi Takeuchi had fainted, and they had no way to ask. They could only follow her prediction and leave this ghost place first. Shishimonobu Satoru went to find the car, and then all the team members got on the car and left Jiangning Square without stopping for a moment. When they left, they heard the sound of helicopter wings flapping in the distance. Feng Huang Yuan Ren couldn't help but look up at the sky. He had a hunch that he would meet these guys again soon. What a tragic battle! So many people died, we can't continue. To fight! Team leader, what should we do now? Should we continue to move forward? Jinguji Seiichiro looked at Feng Huang Yuan Ren and asked. Feng Huang Yuan Ren put one arm on the car window, and his eyes fell on Mayumi Takeuchi. For this battle, she overdrew too much strength, and even her arm was disabled. It is necessary to find a healing mutant to heal her injuries. Mayumi. Takeuchi is the core of Eclipse Moon, and she must not be lost. No, we also need to rest for a while. But this time we are the winners. Although Feng Huang Yuan Ren looked a little haggard at this time, his eyes were still full of fanatical light. The blow suffered by Blizzard City this time is big enough. They don't have any troops to use to deal with us. And next time, I will give them a bigger surprise. Jinguji Seiichiro couldn't help but look at him sideways with the same disgust in his eyes. Oh? What do you want to do now? We don't have any help. There will be, Feng Huang Yuan said mysteriously. Our strength is so strong. Are we afraid that no one will abandon the dark side for the bright side? Laughing, the laughter grew louder and louder in the snowy field and was blown away by the wind. Armed helicopter took off with a rumble, and the fan blades rolled up snowflakes all over the sky. Zhang Yi realized that they were going to evacuate, and he couldn't help but frowned. This was very abnormal. Everyone saw the explosion just now, and even the helicopter in the distance was shaking, and soon they would retreat. This didn't look like a victory. Could it be that Deng Shentong was defeated? Zhang Yi's scalp was a little numb. He couldn't imagine that the Jiangnan district would lose to Eclipse twice, and this time, the ace troops were dispatched. He could even predict how furious and crazy Zhu Zheng would be. But what about Deng Shentong? Is he dead? Zhang Yi frowned. All this was his guess, but everything that happened in front of him gave him a bad feeling. If a person like Deng Shentong really died so easily, it would feel too unreal. Zhang Yi looked at the medical staff inside the helicopter and immediately gave up the idea of asking them. These people are just grassroots staff and should not be aware of the situation at the headquarters. Several other people also noticed this subtle atmosphere. If they had won, they would not have left in such a hurry. But they dared not even think about failure. No one could afford such a price. Zhang Yi thought, I don't know how furious and crazy the commander will be. When Liang Yue saw that Zhang Yi looked wrong, she couldn't help but come over and whispered, What's wrong? 2 armed helicopters left the area of Jiangning City. 2 minutes later, a huge mushroom cloud rose in the center of Jiangning City. The terrifying temperature destroyed everything there, and the huge electromagnetic shockwave also caused several surrounding cities to temporarily fall into a state of communication and power stagnation. The explosion of the death of love made Zhang Yi and others on the helicopter realize that Deng Shentong and his team had failed. If they were not forced to no other way, Blizzard City would never use this ultimate weapon. I didn't expect them to be so strong. Mo Zhongning's eyes were a little confused. We are all mutants. Why is the gap so big? He was a mutant who dominated a city, but he was chopped down by Eclipse Moon. This feeling was too much of a blow to him. Li Weihai sighed. This group of mutants is not ordinary mutants. It is said that they killed and plundered everywhere, in Kanto, Japan, and they are the most ferocious robber gang in Kanto. Who can survive in that environment until now is not a tough guy, Li Weihai said here, took a deep breath, raised his head, and looked at the lingering radiation outside. But now, everything is over. No matter how powerful the mutant is, it is impossible to survive in front of such a weapon. Almost everyone agreed with this statement. Only Zhang Yi frowned and did not comment. Liang Yue asked, "Do you still look worried? The headquarters has deployed the God of Love, let alone the people of Eclipse. Even Yuan Kongye, who is at the level of Epsilon, can't survive, right?" Zhang Yi said, "I have a feeling that makes me very uncomfortable. I always feel that they won't die so easily." This feeling comes from the information Zhang Yi collected about the Eclipse group. They seem to have a kind of prophetic ability and can always predict the battle situation most accurately. Could it be that they even anticipated the appearance of the God of Love? This move immediately attracted the attention of major regional forces around the world. Someone launched the God of Love, my God. Has this moment come? It has been confirmed that this God of Love came from Huaxu country, Jiangnan region. Investigate what happened there immediately. When the God of Love took off, the whole world got the news, which also meant that this incident could not be concealed. Zhu Zheng's body fell heavily on the chair, and his mood was extremely heavy. In the end, the death of love was used, just because of a team of mutants. Even if they won, it was not glorious. But before he could breathe a sigh of relief, the staff over there immediately reported, "Commander-in-Chief, through our satellite monitoring, we found the trace of Eclipse Moon. They escaped!" Zhu Zheng's pupils shrank suddenly. He stood up in disbelief and asked, "Escaped? This is impossible. No matter how fast they escape, they can't be faster than the explosion of the death of love." The staff member looked gloomy and showed the information map to Zhu Zheng. "According to our satellite intelligence, they actually left the center of the explosion 10 minutes ago. Although the trace of Eclipse Moon could not be observed on the satellite map due to the existence of the shielding device. But it is still possible to confirm their location. It's like a hole appeared on a map, very obvious. Including Zhu Zheng, everyone felt their scalps tingling. Even the death of love is useless to them? How could it be such a coincidence? You know, more than 10 minutes ago, they were still in the area of the center of Jiangning. How could they escape so quickly? It was as if they knew in advance that they would use the god of death of love. Zhu Zheng sat in a chair, in a daze, as if half of his soul had been taken away. This time, he was completely ruined. And this action will also reduce the prestige of the Jiangnan region and his personal prestige to an extremely low level. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as embarrassing. This ability makes people feel deeply desperate. Who can defeat an enemy who can see through the future? But soon, Zhu Zheng discovered the blind spot of the matter. That's right, it was Zhang Yi. From the beginning, no one paid attention to him, a mere mutant from the outer city. Later, he killed 4 members of Eclipse by himself. Although 2 of them were suspected of picking up leaks, But at that time, Eclipse's second-in-command, Jinguji Seiichiro, was nearby. Zhang Yi scared off Jinguji head-on, which proved that his strength was definitely not as simple as it seemed. At least he must be at the vice-captain level, or even captain level. He felt that the headquarters needed to have a good chat with Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi would be the key to destroying Eclipse Moon. Then he said loudly, "Regarding this battle, no one present today shall disclose a single word to the outside world. If I find anyone who leaks it, he will be deprived of his status as a Blizzard City resident and expelled from the country." The staff members were terrified when they heard the news. Some people thought to themselves, "Are they going to keep their mouths shut? But can such a huge defeat really be kept secret from everyone?" Zhang said, "As for the Deng family, I will go and talk to them in person." In the Deng family side, Deng Yuanbo got the news of Deng Shentong's death in the first place. At this time, he was wearing a fox fur cloak, standing in front of the huge French window, quietly watching the falling snow outside the window. Liancheng knocked on the door and walked in, respectfully lowering his hands, and said, "Mr. Deng, I have responded to the people at the headquarters according to your instructions." Deng Yuanbo just nodded slowly. Seeing this, Liancheng raised his head and thought about it again and again. He asked in confusion, "There are many strange things in this operation. The failure was too complete, and with the strength of the young master, even if he was defeated, he would not die. In battle, are you too gentle to them?" Such a result was unacceptable to Deng Yuanbo and Liancheng. The Tianshan team had never lost a battle, and their members were all top-notch players. How could they die at the hands of a group of Ronin? Liancheng couldn't help but have a conspiracy theory in his heart. Could it be that someone deliberately targeted and killed Deng Shentong? After all, there are undercurrents in Blizzard City now. Deng Shentong, as the designated successor of the Deng family, is top-notch in both ability and popularity. Almost everyone understands that Deng Shentong is a strong contender for the next commander of Blizzard City, who is highly expected by the Deng family. Deng Yuanbo narrowed his eyes, and his expression was hidden in the dim morning light, so his expression could not be seen clearly. A vicissitudes of life came from his throat. "No matter what, the Jiangnan region cannot be in chaos. We and the Jiangnan region will rise and fall together. If there is chaos in Blizzard City, it will be difficult for the Deng family to remain unscathed. I will carefully investigate the matter of the magical power. But now, we have to help the region stabilize." Liancheng heard this and bowed his head and said, "I am short-sighted. I will follow your teachings, sir." No matter how sad he was, Deng Yuanbo, as the head of the Deng family, needed to be responsible for the entire family. It is undoubtedly stupid to tear his face with the regional headquarters now. However, this matter will never end. Don't let me find out who did this. Otherwise, even Zhang, you can't bear the consequences. If you like my content and want to keep up with future updates, hit that subscribe button. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video.